Welcome back, everybody. This is Latin's Fight Picks. Today we will be going over the fight card for UFC 307. Pereira versus Roundtree this Saturday, October 5th, 2024. As usual, we will start off with the prelims and work our way up to the main event. So let's start. First fight of the night. Court McGee versus Tim Means. Court McGee, 5'11", 75-inch reach, 22 wins, 13 losses, 39 years old. Tim Means, 6'2", 75-inch reach, 33 wins, 16 losses, 1 draw, 40 years old. This is a fight that I went back and forth on, probably the most. This fight I went back and forth. Originally I picked Tim Means, then went to Court McGee, then I'm kind of leaning towards Tim Means. But the fact is they're both older fighters. I mean, looking at the age, they're about a year apart. Looking at their physical deterioration, I think McGee might have deteriorated a little more. Watching their old fights, I saw, McGee, they have a common opponent, and that was Morono. And McGee fought Morono to a close decision. It was a unanimous decision, but after watching the fight, honestly, they could have gone McGee's way as well. In the third round, and even though there's bigger moments that were won by Morono, the volume actually was won by McGee. And McGee, surprisingly, even though he is still slow, he's very elusive, and he can judge distance very well. He doesn't get hit clean that often, although his chin is deteriorating, and now when he does get hit clean, it seems like it affects him a lot more. So that's working against him, and he got a couple of bad knockouts in the last little while. He is showing his age, but when he gets into clinch and against the fence, he's very strong. He can take people down. He can hold people down, and hard to submit this guy. So I was leaning towards McGee after the second look, but then I went a third time back to look at Means, because my first impression was to pick Means as well. And then I flipped to Court McGee, and I looked at Tim Means, and I saw his performance against Morono. And you know what? He was fairly even in the strikes. I thought he was getting better of the strikes than Morono, but the strikes were even, so he wasn't out voluming him, but they were both having big moments. And then Means took him down, and he actually got submitted by Morono with a guillotine choke. Funny thing is that Morono caught McGee in the same guillotine choke, and McGee fought through it. It was close. It looked like it was touch and go, but McGee fought through it, and he survived. Then he ended up losing the decision. So, having gone back and forth, I think that I'm going to go with Means on this one. It's just that Means has been the busier fighter. Even though he's a year older, he's been the busier fighter, and he has looked pretty good. He's still aggressive. He's still aggressive. He still hits hard. He's good counter. He's not as good as he used to be, but he's still 80% there. Where Court McGee, I don't know if his chin's all there. Even though he's fighting like Court McGee, he's a little slower, but he's still strong. He still can take a lot of punishment. He still can take people to the ground. But you can tell he's a little more tentative about getting hit. But he is pretty good at not getting hit. So I was going back and forth. I thought if McGee can take this to the ground and just steal a couple of rounds, this is going to be a close split decision type of fight. So at the end of it, I'm going to stick with Means, my first original pick. Very iffy on this one. I also, one thing that played into it is I have a feeling that this might be Court McGee's retirement fight. Just have this feeling from the way things are going. So I'm going to go with Means on this one. Very low confidence. Moving on, Ryan Spann versus Ovince St. Preux. Ryan Spann, 6'5", 79-inch reach, 21 wins, 10 losses, 33 years old. Ovince St. Preux, 6'3", 80-inch reach, 27 wins, 17 losses, 41 years old. Again, this huge difference in age. Ryan Spann, he's got a mental issue that he doesn't have mental issues. When it comes to fighting, he's got great physical attributes, but it's his mental game that suffers. And he's been fixing his mental game with a mental coach and all that. But his decisions inside the ring sometimes are not what they should be. Sometimes they're unavoidable, and I've seen him really improve in his ground game, and the guy's very powerful, got straight, hard punches, and he's very dynamic, especially at the beginning. But he looks like he gets down on himself if he can't get you out right away, and it just seems like he does worse as the fight goes on. Ovince St. Preux is a veteran. He's 41 years old. He looks like he should be over the hill, but the last fight he had, he did really well against Nchukwu. And I had bet against Ovince St. Preux. He was a huge underdog, and he ended up pulling that win off. It was terrible for me. But you know what? Nchukwu he's also a head case where he makes a lot of bad decisions. Huge guy, big physical attributes, but just doesn't seem to get going if things aren't going his way. And Ovince St. Preux didn't get knocked out, he didn't get hurt, and he just kept putting pressure on him, and he ended up winning the fight by just doing more. So St. Preux does have a path to victory here. But at the end of the day, the last time I bet against St. Preux is because I thought he was old. I thought if he gets clipped, he's going to get hurt. I still believe that. So I'm going to have to go with Ryan Spann. It's low confidence pick, but Ryan Spann should be able to touch him at some point, and I think we'll see St. Preux's chin at that point be a 41-year-old chin. So I'm going to pick Ryan Spann. I'm not really a fan of the odds, minus 250. I mean, it was minus 370. It was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, people obviously know there's a path to victory for St. Preux. Spann does have a checkered past. Minus 250, still a little too high, but you know, if I'm going to pick a winner, it should be Ryan Spann. I think he's going to end up catching the chin. Hopefully he's not taking St. Preux down. Hopefully St. Preux, when he's actually taking Spann down, Spann's best defense is usually that front guillotine choke. But that's also a good way for St. Preux to get going on his best submission, which is the Von Flute, which is usually starts off with somebody trying to guillotine choke you, and then you turn that into a Von Flute. So it's going to be touch and go. Hopefully Spann makes the right decisions, but he's going to be the pick. Next fight, Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington. Carla Esparza, 5'1", 63-inch reach, 20 wins, 7 losses, 36 years old. Tisha Pennington, 5'1", 61.5-inch reach, 13 wins, 7 losses, 35 years old. My number one problem with both these girls, they're always the smallest girls whenever they're fighting. They're exactly the same height. Tisha Pennington might be a little smaller. She definitely got a little bit less reach. Esparza, I think she's starting to show her age. I think she's not. She's a little slower, just a touch slower. She's never been a great striker, but her primary path to victory is wrestling. And these girls had fought before, and Esparza did end up winning against Pennington. This is years back, I think, in the Ultimate Fighter. And normally I would kind of go with Esparza on this one, you know, because she has fought top-level competition. She's fought for the belt. She won the belt. She's lost the belt. But I think the game's kind of passed her by. I think everyone's kind of stepped it up a notch. I think she's 36 years old and possibly ready to retire. Tisha Pennington, I've always thought she was too small, but she is called a tornado she's not called a tornado for nothing. I find her very active, hard to keep down, a lot of energy, a lot of big gas tank, throws a lot of strikes, goes in and out, lands a lot. And I think she's going to win this because I saw her, how she handled Ricci. I had a bet on Ricci, really sweated it out, went down to a split decision. Ricci ended up getting it, and it was touch and go. It could have gone either way. And I think Ricci, as she's shown, she's at a pretty decently high level. Esparza, I think, has taken 2 years off or something like that. So she has been gone for a while. I got to go with Pennington on this one. Tisha, I think she can get this done, and it's going to be tough. She's going to fight off tons and tons of wrestling, but realistically, it's going to be a wrestling attack from Esparza and Pennington just trying to stay on the feet. As far as when they're on the feet, Pennington's just going to outland her, as she does to most people in general. She's just very active. So I'm going to go with Pennington on this one. Mid-level confidence. Mid to low. Mid. Moving on to the prelims. Those are the early prelims, by the way. Austin Hubbard versus Alexander Hernandez. This is a recent addition to this fight card. Austin Hubbard, 5'10", 71-inch reach, 17 wins, 7 losses, 32 years old. Alexander Hernandez, 5'9", 72-inch reach, 14 wins, 8 losses, 31 years old. Number one problem with Hernandez, we don't know which one's going to show up. He's fighting at 145. He went down to 135. He's back at 145. You know, and the last couple of fights, though, he just seems like he's turned the corner. I mean, he had a really big problem with his gas tank where he would just completely fall apart after like a round and a half, or 2 rounds. By the 3rd round, he's gassed. And he's got a lot of muscle. He's very powerful. He's very dynamic, and he's good on the ground. But he does tend to taper off. And you got Hubbard, who's a stud when it comes to like his gas tank. He'll go for 3 rounds. But here's the thing: is I've never really considered Austin Hubbard UFC level. I think he's barely UFC level, and I think Hernandez has fought some decent guys and won against some decent guys who are definitely UFC level, even though they might be on the lower end of it. He's definitely shown that he can beat some decent guys. And this is going to be an elevation, and I'm concerned about Hernandez's gas tank. But as of late, it seems like he's taking it a little more seriously. Everyone's kind of writing him off, and I don't know. I still think he can win. I think he can beat Hubbard. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think he's going to have the bigger moments on the feet. I think Hubbard's going to try to take him down over and over again. But you know, I saw Hubbard fight against his last guy, and he didn't do that good. And I can't remember. It was kind of a disappointing fight. What was that? I was kind of disappointed that I think he lost. Was it the guy? No, he fought Figlak, and it was a very close fight. So a little too close. And Figlak, even though I don't consider him UFC level, you know, what did he fight? ZM, lost to ZM, yeah. So there you go. I think Hernandez is going to be the pick. Low level confidence, but definitely can't go with Hubbard. Moving on, Cesar Almeida versus Ihor Pretoria. Cesar Almeida, 6'1", 74-inch reach, 5 wins, 1 loss, 36 years old. Ihor Pretoria, 6'3", 75-inch reach, 20 wins, 6 losses, 28 years old. I really like Cesar Almeida. I think he's a great striker. His takedown defense is pretty good. Last time he was fighting a striker who ended up turning to wrestling because of how good Almeida's striking is. And he ended up winning a really close, well, I don't know if it was a close decision, but he definitely held on to win because Almeida was doing great damage on the feet, and he kept getting taken down and being held down. Now, the path to victory for Ihor Pretoria would probably be take him down, hold him down, try control him, and try win some points. But Pretoria normally doesn't like to fight like that. He's young, he's aggressive, he's moved down in weight class to the welterweight from middleweight. I can't remember if he fought at light heavy as well, but he was definitely at middleweight, and he moved down. But now he's actually big for this division. He's 6'3", he's really long, he's lanky, he's hard to handle, he's got some power, and he's willing to stay in the pocket and throw. And you know, I bet on him against what's that guy? The guy from Brazil. He was a huge, massive favorite. And I had bet on Pretoria. And he almost pulled it. He almost knocked the guy out. And they should have stopped the fight, but they let the fight go on. And the guy somehow survived and ended up coming back to win. What was his name? Bellato. So, yeah. And you know, he's fought Alberg, he lost against TKO, but he's really game. But I don't see him catching Almeida. I think Almeida's too slick. Granted, he does take some shots, but I don't know. I think he's a slicker fighter. He's a kickboxer. I don't think Pretoria is going to be, I mean, he might try to take him down, but even if he does, is he good enough to take him down? Because there's a lot of guys that try to take Almeida down. Almeida does get back up. You got to be a pretty good grappler to hold him down. I'm going to go Cesar Almeida. I mean, he's a huge favorite on this one. I think he's got a huge striking advantage, even though Pretoria is going to be throwing bombs, and he's always dangerous, as he showed in that Bellato fight. One punch can change everything. But at minus 400, I don't even think Almeida's bettable, but he's going to be the pick. Moving on, Marina Rodriguez versus Lasmine Lucindo. Marina Rodriguez, 5'6", 65-inch reach, 17 wins, 4 losses, 37 years old. Lasmine Lucindo, 5'3", 66-inch reach, 16 wins, 5 losses, 22 years old. Lucindo is the favorite. She's showing great signs of improvement. I think she started fighting in the UFC when she was 20. Again, her first fight was Uruguay and was like one of the fight of the nights. It was a great showing. She's got good power, decent power on the feet. She's fairly quick. She's on the smaller side, and I think we're going to notice a difference in the reach. With even though their reach is the same, just because Marina Rodriguez is so much longer. I think Lucindo's quick. I think she's good on the ground. She's got good trip takedowns. I don't know if she's that good of a wrestler, but she is good at judo, and she can get it to the ground through trips. If anything, Rodriguez has shown one weakness. When she is on the ground, she has a hard time getting back up, if she gets up at all. It takes her a while to get back up, depending on the quality of the person who's on top. But when she's on the feet, she is a sniper. She's very accurate. She's very crisp. She fights very long. She's got a great jab. She's got a great 1-2. She's a great striker. And she's hard to handle when she's got some rhythm going. But she does have some pretty good takedown defense. It's when she gets taken down, she's going to have a hard time. Now, Lucindo, I remember she having a hard time against Uruguay to take her down. And I don't find her wrestling really that great. I find that it's mostly judo throws and trips that she uses to get somebody to the ground. I think she's going to have a hard time with Rodriguez to get her to the ground. If she does take it to the ground, I mean, Rodriguez could lose that round, but if Rodriguez can keep it on the feet, she's going to end up winning it by decision. I went back and forth on this one. My original pick was Lucindo, but the more I looked at it, the more I kept saying to myself, who has Lucindo really fought? She hasn't fought anybody of this caliber. This is a huge step up for her. The only question mark is Rodriguez is 37 years old. I don't think she's looking worse. I think she still looks as good as she's ever has. But again, when you're reaching these ages, you start to show deterioration fairly quickly. Is it going to be this fight? She's fighting somebody who's 22 years old, who's full of spit and vinegar, kind of thing. Lots of energy. It's gonna be close. She is the underdog in this one. It's a big step up for this for the 22-year-old, And the more I look at it, I'm thinking I'm gonna pick Rodriguez as a super low level confidence. I think she can keep it on the feet. I think when she is on the feet, she throws straighter punches, crisper. I saw her performance against Andrade. I was really impressed. It was a split decision. I had money on Andrade. She ended up winning, but it was a lot closer than I thought it would be. And I thought Andrade would take her down a lot easier, even though she did take her down one time. After that, Rodriguez was able to fight it off. And I think since the Jan Jaroba fight, she has improved her takedown defense and her get-up game, because she got dominated on that fight with takedowns by Jandiroba. But Jandiroba is a really good wrestler. She can take anybody down. I just don't see Lucindo being at that level of takedowns, even though she is excellent on the ground. Once she is on the ground, to hold you down. So that's going to be the battle: is can she stay up on the feet? Can Rodriguez stay up on the feet and keep it, a straight up striking match? And I'm going to say that she can, long enough to win the rounds. It's going to be close. I think Rodriguez is continuously working on her takedown defense. I think she's gotten even better at it. So I'm going to pick her. She is the underdog. I think this is a huge step up for Lucindo. I think she's going to lose a decision on this one. So let's see if that happens. Super low confidence on this one. Like I said, I had flipped it already from Lucindo to Rodriguez due to the experience and the level of competition. Moving on, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jaquim Buckley. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, 17 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 41 years old. Joaquin Buckley, 5'10", 76-inch reach, 19 wins, 6 losses, 30 years old. Again, Thompson, 41 years old. He's probably going to be retiring soon. Joaquin Buckley has shown that he can fight with tall guys. It's hard to knock him out. He has been knocked out before, but he's been knocked out by, the top level guy. What's it? Chris Curtis. He got knocked out. Was it Chris Curtis? I think, right? And then he fought against. He was in middleweight, and he fought guys that are bigger than Thompson, longer. He fought. He got KO'd by Curtis, and he TKO'd. He TKO'd Falio. Won against Morono. Luque TKO'd Luque Rudzibayev. I mean, he's on a tear. He's showing that he's got great in and out. He's fast. He's got good takedowns. Wonderboy Thompson, fights great at range. Has fought top level competition. I think he's 41 years old. I think this is going to be a close fight, but I think Buckley's going to end up winning this by decision. I think he's going to be able to get close enough to Thompson, threaten takedowns, possibly take him down, and with his in and out, and they almost fight a similar style where you got Thompson with the karate style, and then you got Buckley, who's kind of like a karate style with the in and out movement. He closes distance really quick. He's got to be careful. Thompson is very fast with the strikes. I mean, anything can happen. There's some people picking Thompson. I could see why, because if he catches Buckley and times him when he's coming in, he can, possibly hurt him or KO him. But I think this is past Thompson's prime. I think at 41, I don't think he's going to be the same Thompson as we've seen. I think Buckley's going to end up winning this fight. I'm calling it by decision. He is a decent sized favorite. Don't really like that. I think Thompson's still very dangerous and fast enough to catch Buckley coming in. But Buckley has shown that he's been quicker than these guys. So we'll see how fast he is, but Buckley's going to be the pick. And of course, the takedowns are there for him. Moving on to the main card. Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. Roman Dolidze, 6'2", 76-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 36 years old. Kevin Holland, 6'3", 81-inch reach, 26 wins, 11 losses, 31 years old. Dolidze is older, but he started in this game a little later. He doesn't seem like he's really slowing down. He's doing as good as he ever did. It's very tough, very durable, hard to put away. He's fought against the best guys with a lot of power. Kevin Holland, he's back up at middleweight. He's very long, very lanky, good striker from the outside. He's pretty decent on the ground. I don't think he wants to be on the ground with Dolidze. I think Dolidze is going to be a little stronger on the ground than he is. I think Dolidze is going to be looking to take this to the ground. I think he's going to try close distance and get Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's got to keep this at distance. Can't let it go to the ground. I think this is where the battle's going to be. And I've always had a problem with Kevin Holland's choices in the ring. So I think that he makes a lot of bad choices. I think he's a very entertaining fighter. He wants to entertain everybody. In this case, standing on the feet and entertaining everybody will probably be a good move for him. But if he humors Dolidze and goes on the ground, I think that's where he's going to have a problem. But Dolidze is going to be the stronger guy. He's not going to be the taller guy, the longer, lankier guy, but he's going to be the stronger guy. I think when you see what happens in the clinch, is Dolidze, once he gets him in the clinch, he's going to be able to take him down. And I think that's where Dolidze is going to grind out a decision victory on this one. But Kevin Holland is exciting. Roman Dolidze is the underdog. I'm going to go with Roman Dolidze. I think this is a level of competition that he can win. And he's fought the top level guys as well. And I think at middleweight, Kevin Holland's going to suffer from the strength in the clinch. He's going to be at a deficit when it comes to Dolidze. Even though if he keeps it at range, he's going to be able to, snipe him hopefully. But Dolidze will be able to close the distance. He's fought some high-level guys with some power. Moving on, Ketlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison. Ketlin Vieira, 5'8", 68-inch reach, 14 wins, 3 losses, 33 years old. Kayla Harrison, 5'8", 66-inch reach, 17 wins, 1 loss, 34 years old. I mean, there's a huge hype train behind Kayla Harrison. Everyone's expecting her to be the next champ. If you see her, she's big, she's buff. She looks like she's on steroids. I don't know if she is, but she's very large, very muscular for a lady. So, she's got good judo. She won 2 gold medals. She's decent on the ground. She's got some good chokes. I don't think she's great at jiu-jitsu. I think she's good at judo. I think she's very powerful as she can get people on the ground, and she's got good ground control. She has submitted people. Is she great at jiu-jitsu? I don't know if it's necessarily great jiu-jitsu, but she's good at judo. Ketlin Vieira, she's good at jiu-jitsu. I don't know. I don't think she's as good at judo as Harrison. But as far as the striking goes, you got Harris, who's very strong and very powerful, but she's very slow. And even if you see her fight or on the feet, like just her whole movements and body movements of, how she boxes, it just looks awkward. It's because she's so wide and she's so big and she's slow. She's not a good striker. She doesn't have good defense, but her defense is basically her throwing big looping punches and some bombs and getting to a clinch position where she's going to judo throw you. That's her defense. Ketlin Vieira, she's a decent striker. She's fought the top level girls. She's going to be really good at striking. We'll see how well she defends the takedowns. I think she can defend the takedowns. I think Harrison's not a great wrestler. I think she needs to be in the clinch. So Vieira, unfortunately, sometimes does make decisions that aren't the best decisions and let the girls put her up against the fence and grind on her. I think a good example of that was when she fought Holly Holm, who ended up, I don't know if she ended up stealing that decision from her, or Vieira actually beat her by decision. It was really close. But Holly Holm kept put her up against the fence and, control her against the fence and grind her down and try to take her down and just, win minutes. And I think Harrison's going to do the same thing. She's going to win minutes. But on the feet, where they're at distance, Harrison's going to be at a disadvantage. She's got a 2-inch disadvantage in reach. Vieira does know how to throw. She's a pretty good striker. She's got a great head kick. And, she is a huge underdog. Kayla Harrison's going to have to be the pick on this one, but she's definitely not bettable anyway. And I could see Ketlin Vieira staying at distance, possibly head kicking Harris. I don't even know if she can knock Harrison? Is it Harris? I don't even know if she could knock her out. She just seems like a tank. But she could definitely steal a round, and she only has to steal 2 rounds and keep it going and not get finished, which I don't know if Kayla can finish her on the ground. I think Ketlin's pretty decent at jiu-jitsu. I think she can survive, and she's a big girl herself. What was that? And she's went to a split decision with Pennington. Split decision with Holm. She lost against Pennington. So yeah, this is a closer fight than the odds are going to let on, and this is a big step up in competition. Well, I shouldn't say that because Harrison did fight Holly Holm, but Holly Holm was also 41 years old, and every fight that she was actually fighting that you saw her in, she was getting worse and worse and worse. Not to mention Holly Holm, when she fought Harrison, absolutely had the worst game plan in history. Instead of keeping her at range, with her striking, where that was her forte, she pursued clinching and tried to judo throw Harrison, who is a gold medalist in judo. It didn't even make any sense to me. And she ended up getting pounded and worn down and eventually submitted. It was just the worst game plan. I've never seen anything like it. There was a chance for her to just keep it at range. And it wasn't even Harrison necessarily closing the distance. It was Holm. So if Vieira comes in with a good game plan, this is going to be a lot closer than the odds say. So Harrison's going to be the pick, but there's a chance that if Vieira comes up with a good game plan, has a couple of good head kicks, and possibly keeps it up on the feet and doesn't get thrown onto the ground and fights off a few of those, I mean, there's a chance that maybe Vieira gets on top with her jiu-jitsu. There's a chance that Vieira could win a decision here. So Harrison's going to be the pick, but if you're going to make a bet, I would just bet on Vieira. So I wouldn't bet on Harrison. She's at minus 1,500 and Ketlin Vieira's at plus 750. I'm not saying bet it. I'm just saying if it's going to be a bet, that would be the side you should be on. I'm going to pick Harrison to win. You know, she just might be a little too strong, but I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park. So moving on, Jose Aldo versus Mario Batista. Jose Aldo versus, okay, hold on, here we go, sorry. Jose Aldo, 5'7", 70-inch reach, 32 wins, 8 losses, 38 years old. Mario Batista, 5'8", 69-inch reach, 14 wins, 2 losses, 31 years old. Again, Aldo, 38 years old, he's come in and reinvented himself. Still looks like he's fighting really well. I don't know if he's on top of his game, but he's definitely doing really well. He doesn't seem to have slowed down that much. The King of Rio is fighting well. He's going to be at a 2-inch height disadvantage, but he's going to he's going to have what, a 1-inch reach advantage. Mario Batista, you know what? Everyone's really high on this guy. He's the favorite. He is the younger guy. He's going to have great cardio. There has been situations where Aldo has been getting tired in the later rounds. It's going to be at elevation. So if Mario Batista really puts it on him, tires him out, I could see him winning the 3rd round. And if he puts it on him enough, he might even win the 2nd round. So this is going to be a close fight. But if Aldo can hold out and stay at distance and strike, he's going to win these rounds. And I think he's going to be able to beat Mario Batista. I was actually a little disappointed in Mario Batista with a few of his fights. And I think he has reached his ceiling. He's not going to be champ. I think the level you see him fight at, this is a step up for him from all the guys he's fought. You know, he beat Simone. You know, not a big deal anymore. Blackshear, questionable if he beat him. Canetti, I mean, who has he really fought? And all those fights were I can't remember the Simone fight, but the Blackshear, that was a close fight, and a lot of people thought he lost that fight. I had money on him, and I thought he lost the fight, and I was just happy that he won the fight. So there you go. Anyways, I'm gonna bet on Jose Aldo. I've been betting on him steady, and everyone keeps saying he's too old, and he keeps coming up with these great performances. I'm not going to stop now. You know, he beat Martinez, who everyone thought he would lose. I had money on him to beat Martinez, even though it looked like Martinez wasn't fighting at the level. It almost looked like the lights were a little too bright. Fighting Aldo makes a lot of bad decisions, but nevertheless, he has fought just recently. I mean, and he took and that was after he took a long layoff. So now he's coming back a little quicker, which is something you'd like to see. So I'm going to go with a Jose Aldo. I mean, the King of Rio one more time. He is the underdog. So let's go with Jose Aldo. I think if he keeps it on the feet, he's going to win the striking battle. He's going to outpoint Batista. Moving on. Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. Raquel Pennington, 5'7", 67.5-inch reach, 16 wins, 9 losses, 36 years old. Juliana Pena, 5'6", 69-inch reach, 12 wins, 5 losses, 35 years old. Both of them are at the end of their career. Like, this is it. They're going to start to deteriorate. Raquel Pennington is the champ. She's 36 years old. She's at the peak of her game. She's not going to get better. She's going to start to deteriorate, if anything. Juliana Pena, she took 2 years off. I don't think how long was she gone? 2 years? She took a 2-year layoff ever since she fought Nunes. She ended up winning the first fight. She ended up getting dominated the second fight. That first fight was the strangest fight ever. Nunes looked absolutely terrible. But she came back and redeemed herself. Juliana Pena is an awkward fighter. She's very tough, very durable. Come forward, put a lot of pressure. A lot of people break under that pressure, and she'll keep going for takedowns. And she's very determined. She's got a great gas tank. Raquel Pennington, I think this is the kind of style that she fought last time. She's fought girls exactly with this style. I think she's the champ. I think she's going to stay the champ. I think Pena is going to have an extraordinary performance after 2 years with such a big layoff. I don't know if I could actually bet on somebody, coming in for 2 years. We don't even know what she's going to look like. She is the underdog. She's got a path to victory. Obviously, she beat Nunes one time, but I kind of think that was a one-off, and I don't know because Nunes looked absolutely terrible in that fight. I don't know if she took the fight seriously or she was injured. I can't remember exactly what happened. But yeah, Juliana Pena, she fought McMahon. She won by sub. She lost to Durangami. What? Yeah. I got to go with Rocky on this one. I think it's going to be a sweep for the Pennington couple. So, with Tisha fighting earlier and then Raquel fighting later, I think she's going to win this one. We don't know what Pena is going to look like. And I'm going to go with the devil I know. I know Raquel looked pretty good. Had a pretty good takedown defense. And yeah, I'm going to go with her to outland and outpoint Juliana Pena. Moving on to the main event. Alex Pereira versus Khalil Roundtree. Alex Pereira, 6'4", 79-inch reach, 11 wins, 2 losses, 37 years old. Khalil Roundtree, 6'1", 76.5-inch reach, 14 wins, 5 losses, 34 years old. Huge favorite, Alex Pereira. I mean, obviously Roundtree stepped up and took this fight. He is, I don't know where he's at, but he's in the top 10. I just don't know if he's in the top 5. He's very dangerous. I mean, he's a good striker. I just don't think he's at the level of Pereira. The one question mark I have with Pereira is 37 years old. At this age, at any time, something can happen. And he could look too old. And this is the perfect fight for Roundtree. He's got nothing to lose. He's a heavy hitter. He just has to hit Pereira one time. If Pereira is at that point and his body says, okay, it's over, Roundtree could be at the right place at the right time, end up knocking this guy out. But realistically, that's what I've been saying that for a while, and I stopped saying that because it hasn't happened. So you got to go with Alex Pereira. He's the champ for a reason. He's a lot better than Roundtree at striking. He does get hit. He's got to be careful because he's 37 years old, but he also has a ground game. He can take Roundtree down. Roundtree's only path to victory is KO. So if you're going to bet on Roundtree as a long shot, might as well just put KO on it because that's the only way he's going to beat Pereira. Otherwise, he's going to lose. I think this fight's not going the distance. Someone's going to get knocked out. I'm thinking Pereira's going to be the one knocking out Roundtree. So pretty simple when you look at it. Let me see if I could. Got a lot of nerve calling right in the middle of my. Anyways, Pereira's going to be the pick. High level confidence, obviously, at minus 500. Let's go to the board. All right. Again, not financial advice. Bet only what you're willing to lose. This is gambling, and this is just my suggestions of my order of most confident to least confident. Do your own research. See how things can work out for you. Compare what you've done, compare what I've done on this board, and possibly, make some bets or create a parlay that could work for you. But going over that, my most confident, obviously, is going to be Pereira. He's taken this on somewhat short notice. He shouldn't be fighting for the title. So, I mean, it is what it is. But does he have a chance? Of course. 37 years old. He's a big power puncher. Anything can happen. This is light heavyweight. So that's going to be the bet. If you wanted to bet on Roundtree, if you bet on Pereira, I mean, he could even submit him. You never know. Pereira can finish him. I don't think this fight's going to the end. But Roundtree, his only path to victory is going to be KO. If you are going to bet on Roundtree, might as well put KO on it. Harrison, minus 1,500. Pereira, plus 750. Unbettable, and again, she's still a relatively unproven commodity. I mean, she's fighting well against the people that she's been put up against, and she's finishing them. And I don't think she's fought even Holm. I don't think Holm looked really well the last time she fought Harrison. I thought she made a lot of bad decisions. So I think this fight's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot closer. At plus 750, I mean, she's unbettable. I don't know what you would do with her if it was a straight bet or throw in a parlay, just with just very little money and watch it compound. But I mean, we'll see how Harrison looks, because after this fight, they're probably going to give her a title shot. So let's see how Vieira looks. Watch out for the head kick from Vieira. That's what I would be watching out for. I don't know if she can KO her. I think she can hurt her. And I think Vieira could very well steal this on a decision. So if I was to say anything, Vieira by decision at best. But Harrison, yeah, it could be Harrison decision as well. Almeida. Cesar Almeida, minus 400 again. Is it worth betting? I don't know. Pereira is always dangerous. He almost knocked out Bellato. Almeida does take some shots. He is 36 years old. He looks great, but he's still new to this MMA game. Who knows if Pereira is going to try throwing some takedowns. And that was the last time Almeida fight a striker. He ended up switching it up on him and taking him down and winning it by decision by just taking him down and holding him down for most of the fight.